So, it is Friday, just before a long weekend, and in Sydney it's been pouring down with rain. It's pretty gross out there. And I was thinking about a myth that I have heard often. So, certainly, I really hope you can't hear that super loud sound outside. Does anyone else not think that those, what are they called? The leaf blowers should be like banned because they don't even do anything, like just blow everything onto your neighbour's house? What does that do? Anyway, side note from that, preventative treatments for skin. So often, especially when I do live events, I hear so many women telling me that they are advised to do, treatments to prevent whatever it is from happening to their face. So for instance, if you are someone who chooses to do, maybe you're doing injectables or you're doing laser treatment. And there's a caveat here, right? Because I've told you, I've had laser for rosacea. I had a particularly bad patch on my cheek here. Amazing, right? I'm not against it for that. If you are doing things and you're starting in your 20s, which is like this current trend of like doing stuff preventatively, what you are actually going to do is, I'm sorry, because that noise is really driving me mad. It's hard to focus. But the thing is, what happens is your skin is always in a state of repair, right? So that's what we want it to be. And so before we have kids and we're kind of 40-ish, our skin is thinking, let's be glowy and amazing so that we can attract a mate and we can have an amazing offspring. And this is the vibe that our skin is giving out right there. Then once your hormones start to change after you've had children and you've got those lifestyle changes, estrogen drops off, your testosterone will drop off, you have those sleep changes, everything gets a bit different. Your skin changes into a sensory organ and it's like, what's going on in the world around me? And this makes perfect sense from a perspective of how we are and functioning in this world, because once our children are born, if you're a mum, we are here to assess what's going on all the time and make sure that we can keep them safe, because that's our purpose then, right? And I know not everyone has children and all the rest of it, but we can understand from a genetic perspective, if the human species is here to survive, then this is what our function is going to be. So I'm broadly speaking. However, with these treatments, right? So your skin has a purpose over this period of time, and this whole concept of doing these treatments to, like for instance, laser, so doing repeated laser, actually damages underneath the surface of the skin. And when you're using it in a function to repair something or to trigger the skin to repair, that makes sense, right? However, if you do it over and over again, I like to liken it to perhaps you are a athlete who, don't know a lot about sport, so it's going to be maybe athlete wasn't the right choice. But anyway, I'm going to go with athlete. So perhaps you're an athlete who does a lot of running, right? And you damage your knee repeatedly, but because you're obsessed with running and you love it and you're really good at it, you get knee repair surgery. You mess up your knee, you keep asking it to repair itself, you end up having surgery. Actually, I just saw that Novak Djokovic had surgery on his knee, but anyway. So you get your knee repaired in surgery. By the time you're like 35, some athletes, it's even younger. It's like, when they're still in their 20s, they're having like shoulder reconstructions and stuff. You have pushed that knee beyond repair and it cannot repair anymore from whatever you are doing to it, right? Okay, the same thing happens to our skin. So if we are constantly doing these preventative treatments to trigger the underneath of our skin to regenerate, right? This is a theory behind it. You will get to the point where there is no regeneration left and you are just causing scar tissue underneath the skin. Now, I'm not anti, you guys, like anyone can choose to do whatever they want to do, but my purpose here is to feel vibrant and well and able to do whatever I want to do for as long as possible, which I hope will be well over 100, because I am determined to be here to see my like great grandbabies. But also I'd like to look as good as I can for as long as I can. And one of the things that I always teach is that wanting to look good is not just a vanity metric, like it has to do with our self-esteem, but it also is reflective of what's happening inside our body. So if we are not looking after ourselves, if we are not getting enough sleep, if we're not hydrating, if we're not eating enough nutrition, happens quite commonly in women, we will not have any kind of good skin or hair or nails because our body will focus on our organs first. It doesn't care about our hair, skin and nails. It does not care if we want to wake up and look fabulous. It's not part of the necessary function. So if we think about those repeated treatments, I'm not saying there's never a place for them. What I'm saying is if you continue to do them all the time, you're going to cause so much damage underneath your skin that you're going to be stuck in this vicious cycle and you are not going to have a strong, resilient matrix underneath that keeps your face lifted and glowy and doing all the things, right? So if you want to, and I know it's really good for business if you tell people you need to come back every year for laser. So good. And really, I'm shit at sales. It's not my forte because I want people to be empowered to do things on their own. I don't want them to have to come to me because that to me means that I'm not doing my job. So my job is to try and impart as much wisdom as possible so that you know what your skin is saying to you and you can respond to it and not have to come to someone else because that is disempowering, right? And the goal is that you know so well that you mirror that for your family and for all the people around you. And then they all have this up-leveling of the way that they know how to look after themselves and all the rest of it. My line along my lip looks a bit funny, doesn't it? But, so this is the purpose, is we want to, so does your skin think that pigmentation, wrinkles, any of that stuff is an issue? No, it doesn't care. So what we want to do is give it a little signal that it needs to come and pay attention to that. But if you don't have the building blocks on board, if you don't have, if you overdo your signal to your skin, you are going to continually damage it beyond repair. And I was going to say a third point there and I can't remember what it is. Anyway, it might come back to me. I don't know how long I can wait here for, but anyway, it's not coming. So just think about it. What we want to do is send a little signal to our body that it needs to come in, like, you know, maybe we're doing our gua sha around our eyes or we're doing a little bit of microneedling. And I think I've said to you guys before, I get asked a lot about microneedling. I'm not against it, and I actually bought a whole ton of them because I was going to sell them because I actually love it as a tool. But then I was worried that people would not clean them properly, and essentially you have to throw them away because you cannot clean them properly at home. So unless you have like a proper dermatological, like a device, like a medical device, you can't clean them properly at home. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually not going to sell these because I don't trust them. I don't trust that people will feel comfortable throwing them away and then they might do damage to their skin. I'm not okay selling that because I'm not okay giving people that message. So those little micro needling but gua sha is much safer because you're giving a similar message, but you're not going to introduce potential contaminants. So gua sha, using your facial cupping. I love the facial cups. I can't use them very often because I have very sensitive skin and this big patch of rosacea on my cheek that will flare if it gets too heated. But these are great tools to send signals to your body to continually bring blood flow and lymph flow and come in and repair, but you're not causing damage, right? Because there just is only our limited, and I actually don't like saying that because I also believe that we can heal from anything. So I know that's kind of a contradictory statement, but you can heal from anything, but you also have to be realistic about how long do you want to have, like this is what I say to my 9-year-old, if you don't clean your teeth, you'll lose them and then you'll be eating through a straw for the rest of your life, right? So kind of the same with your skin. If you continually damage it, it just is not going to perform in the same way. Like would you, if someone kept coming up and like punching you in the nose, would you like be like, you know, turning up like happy every time? No, you wouldn't. So it just doesn't make sense to treat our skin like that either. So think about paring it back. Think about that seasonal skincare where you're adapting to the seasons, whether it's your life cycle season or whether it's the weather season, the season. Excuse me. Whether you are doing a targeted treatment, there is space for targeted treatments. But to do the same thing all the time, and I just cannot get over this woman who came to me, and I'm sorry if you're on here, but this was just such a shock to me. And I think I kept a straight face, but she was like in her 20s. She was getting married soon. She was doing 20% retinol day and night, plus going in for treatments in the salon every week to prepare for her wedding. And I just think, wow. And this was like, she was doing that for 3 months. And I'm thinking, number one, you have like perfect skin. Like I don't even know what you're thinking. And number two, I don't think you're going to have perfect skin at the end of that. That just doesn't seem like the way to do it. You're like just constantly destroying with too harsh chemicals the surface of your skin. It is like super bizarre. Anyway, so be gentle to your skin, be kind to your skin. A little bit like talking to yourself nicely. Like if you're looking in the mirror going, oh, I look fat, old and ugly. Like how the hell are you going to feel when you wake up in the morning? So anyway, that is my very controversial opinion about it, is that we need to go slowly. We need to be gentle. And we need to treat our skin like we want it to be on our body and looking fabulous for a really long time. And do you think that means throwing really toxic chemical hardcore stuff at it every day, or even, you know, whatever? No, it doesn't. I can't imagine anyone would respond well to that. Anyway, love to know what you think. Good question. Oils in the skin. Well, you know me, I only use oils. So I only use an oil cleanser it's only in summer really that I use the honey cleanser that we have, but otherwise I use an oil cleanser, especially if you wear any makeup, and I wear mascara almost every day because oil breaks down the oils in your makeup and it breaks it down and so takes it off. So you would cleanse twice with an oil cleanser. Or if even in summer when I'm using a different type of cleanser, I'll use oil to take off sunscreen. Like if I'm going to the beach for a long time, I'll wear sunscreen. And so the oil dissolves that. If you are using, I would never use a foaming cleanser on my face because that is drying and I already have a tendency towards drier skin anyway. So I wouldn't do that. But then I apply oils only. So the skin needs hydration from two elements. It needs water and it needs lipids like fat. And so, I think the cat is well and truly out of the bag that one of my new products is a face mist, right? Did I? It's coming. The labels are nearly done. And so that is so you would do your cleansing, then you would apply the face mist, and then you would apply oil on top. I don't make products with emulsions because then you have to mix preservatives in. And that can become problematic, and also I just don't think it's necessary. So I love oils because they last a really long time. They're super concentrated. You only need a few drops. When you go on holiday, you can just take your little bottle of oil and you use it to cleanse and moisturize and you're done. That is it. Simple packing. And trust me, the amount of essential oils I take away with me on holidays, I need something that's simple. You can use it all over your body, but there is never a bad time to apply oils to the skin, and especially at the moment when it is so dry outside, you want to be putting, I like to layer. So putting the oils on, massaging them in, using your gua sha or your facial cupping, and then putting the oil on again, and then massaging it in, blah, 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 and then putting it on again, and putting on your silicone face mask so that warmth of your body heat helps it to soak into your body. So really just applying those things. So everyone loves to exfoliate when their skin looks dry on the surface. And I'm like, no, don't exfoliate. Actually don't. Just put lots of moisture in because that's what it's wanting. It's wanting like soothing. It's not wanting to be stripped bare and exposed to the harsh environment outside in winter. So hopefully that answers your question. That was a lot of words for the question. Any time is a good time for oils is the answer. Skin loves oil, and people who think that oily skin is not going to respond well to oils. Sometimes when you change skincare products, you can have a bit of a kickback. So even for me, I'm often trialing different products because, you know, I'm a beauty addict anyway. And what I do is I feel bad though, because then I've got them in my cupboard and I don't want to throw them away, but I don't really like them anyway. So I get stuck in this problem and I start to just use expensive face creams on my feet. Like what the hell? But anyway, but even when you change treatments, it can often cause a little bit of, breakouts in your skin because your skin is used to something different. However, I've found that things have never been so good as just using oils. My skin has been stronger, more resilient, less reactive, more glowy. Some people don't like a glowy look, but that's fine. Maybe they're not people for here. Night routine. My day and night routine is the same. Cleanse with an oil, spritz my face with the mist, put an oil on. Boom, done. That is it. I put mascara on in the morning. Don't do it at night time. That's pretty much all I do. So it's very, very quick. And my whole thing with the webinar yesterday is just everything is quick and uncomplicated. And so I will be running that webinar next month again. I haven't chosen a date yet, but I will do that imminently and update the what's the word there? Update the link so that you can put your name down there. I love nothing more than actually speaking to people live. So please, if you enjoy these conversations, if you enjoy this, you know, come on, have a conversation with me. I would love to do that in a Zoom room. We can have a chat. It's a lot of fun. And if you don't agree with me, please tell me, because I would love to have that conversation with you, because I have a very flexible mind. I'm really open to listening to other perspectives, and perhaps you think that what I'm saying is a load of rubbish. Let's talk about what your perspective is. So consistent nighttime routine. I'm consistent with everything. I would never go to bed with a dirty face. I don't feel like I've woken up until I've washed my face in the morning. But it takes me about 3 minutes in the morning and about 3 minutes at night, unless I'm doing my gua sha or anything else. And that adds a few extra minutes, but it is super easy. And what I love is that now, because I have uncomplicated everything and my skin is really responsive to that, I don't need to do other stuff. So I used to have a facial every 6 weeks. I loved it. There's nothing, like, I really liked the place that I used to go to. They use nice products, but my skin has never been better since I stopped doing that. And that says something, right? So I used to do this fire and ice facial and I loved it. And I came out of it and I felt like my face was all like fresh, but it was like congested before I went in. My face doesn't get congested anymore. And I'm like, well, what is happening there? So what is really interesting is to try different things, to experiment with different things. And if you've got a different perspective, let's talk about that too. Because the fun thing about social media is it's social. So that is my thoughts for Friday. I managed to get my thoughts back despite the leaf blower outside. I can't wait to speak with you all next Wednesday. Have an amazing long weekend. I don't know what you guys are doing. We are going for a family bushwalk and then going to my brother's house for lunch, which will be nice. And also Monday planning to do nothing, or maybe take my little one to a movie. So I really like the idea of that just being like a super chill weekend. So I hope you guys are doing something similar or more amazing. And I would love to hear about it.